So I decided I wanted to lower the car. I was going to go lower in springs because that'd probably be enough. Coilovers are about £1,000 for BC racing. I've had them on previous cars. I know they're very comfortable with the multiple dampening settings and whatnot. But when a full air ride setup comes available at a very good price, it's very hard to say no. So it's the first car I've ever had air ride fitted to. So this is all new to me. And yeah, let's see how it goes. So this is some of the kit so far. Thought I'd bring it indoors because it's just much easier than outside in the miserable British weather. So we've got the wiring loom, which I'll go through in a second. It's a twin compressor setup with the leader hoses. You got the manifold, water trap, and then the controller itself. So this is an older V2 setup rather than 3P and 3H, but they'll be absolutely fine for what I intend to use it for. So yeah, let's have a talk through it. So I'll try and start from the battery end. So we've got earth, and then within the conduit there's two male spades on a pinky red coloured wire. So these are the main feeds, power feeds for the compressors. So what I'll do is I'll connect a fuse holder in line, and then other end of the fuse holder, a ring terminal connected to the battery. So then moving along the loom, obviously a fair bit of wiring. I'll try and explain this as neat as I can. Then along the loom there's a single pink wire. This connects to the fuse box inside the car for an ignition feed or ignition switch. So when the ignition switch is on, sends a signal to the compressors. Yep, ignition's on, switch on the compressors. So that's that. Just need a piggyback fuse holder for that. Further down the massive amounts of cabling, then goes to this split of the loom. We've got two relays, one for each compressor. Then the wiring, so the previous owners labelled it comp 1, compressor 1, and then tailing off the same loom, a little bit of an untangle it, you got live for the compressor 2. And I noticed on the actual compressor wiring, so that's the first one, compressor 1 been cut, compressor 2, you got the bullet, and then this female spade on the earth. He didn't have any wire thick enough, so he then made a split from one spade into two ring terminals and earthed at two separate points. What I'll probably do is earth this straight back to the battery, so then it follows the other compressor, just so all the wiring's then together. So yeah, we've got the two relays, the live and earth for the compressors, and then it goes to the main manifold plug. So coming off the main loom, somewhere will be the controller plug, and obviously you've then got the controller with the other end on. Need to find somewhere to mount this, but got a couple of ideas. You can change the orientation of the cabling as well. Moving on to the manifold. Obviously, main plug. Then you've got all these ports on the side. So these are 1/4 inch hose, which is I think around about 6mm. Push to connect connections, which is very simple to use. So we've got front left, front right, rear left, rear right, T for tank, and then E is the exhaust, which you then put through the car to atmosphere. I'm guessing it just makes it louder for people to hear. Water trap. This goes in between the manifold and the tank. It just captures any moisture, and this hose just pokes through to underneath the car. So once this fills up, I'm guessing it releases a valve or diaphragm or something, and then lets the water out. So that goes in between manifold and tank. Right, apologies, my microphone has decided it doesn't want to connect to the camera anymore. So these are the rear shocks. The shocks are brand new. I do have another pair. Apparently they'd started to mist, so he'd supplied some new ones. Rear bags and the mounting plates. I believe this is how the bag should sit. These go on the bottom, so bottom of the bag. That goes the other side of the subframe. Bolt goes through, connects the two, and then on the top, this would slide through an aperture hole in the subframe. A bolt goes through from underneath and then screws into that to hold it in place. And these are the fronts. Not much to say about these. Like a normal shock absorber, 2 bolts at the bottom, 3 at the top. I believe it's got camber adjustment as well. He did say that one of these, the bearings was a bit stiff on the top mount, so he bought some replacements. So I'll get round to swapping them over before we install the struts. Leader hose attached. So yeah. Last but not least, the air tank and some new hose. I could have used the old stuff, but at least I know it's all fresh and new. Not that I don't think it splits as easy. It is pretty rigid plastic, but for the sake of £100 or so, I'll just get some. So 2 connections on the end of the tank, 1 to the manifold, and then 1 to the compressor. There's another one on the bottom with a Schrader valve. Can't take this off. So I'm guessing you can pump it up. Say pump it up. Add air to the tank by other means, if need be. So yeah, not too bad. It's pretty simple. Well, it seems pretty simple to install. Obviously, we'll find that out as we go along. So yeah, first of all, I'm gonna start with the wiring and do the struts at the very end. At least that way, I can still use the car in the meantime. Right, so I'm gonna start off with probably the hardest bit, and that's feeding the wiring through into the engine bay. So I've removed the glove box. There's an under panel here, which has been removed. The fuse box cover, and then the kick panel here. And then if we look up the torch. I don't know how well we're going to see. Oh, I can not drop the camera. There's a large round wiring grommet. The torch will shine it. Just there. So that's the main loom that goes behind the battery. Just there. So I need to try and feed some piece of wire or something, pull the wiring through, and yeah, get that over and done with. After lots of perseverance, I managed to finally get it through. If you're looking at the bulkhead this way, if you put your hand in this gap here, so to the right hand side of the fuel lines, you can kind of twist your wrist enough and then lift or pull the grommet from out of the bulkhead enough, and that then creates the gap to feed this through. So as you can see, long piece of wire. So yeah, now that's ran through, I'll pull through the excess of what I need for the live and earth and for the fuse holders, and then I can start tucking the interior stuff away. Excuse the mess, but the front is now tucked away. So if I just pull this off, hopefully pull this off, to show you. So I've cut this piece of plastic here to allow the wire loom to sit further towards the outside edge, because if not, these things here will prevent you from pushing the trim back on. Also did the same here. As you can see, I've just gone slightly around the corner. So that's all done. That's now fed through here. As you can see, it's all out on the floor. So yeah, that's the front part done. Go around to the engine bay. So they're now tucked up. Earth wire is just here, and it's tucked up through the grommet. Right, the rear piece of the lube is now fed through underneath the kick plate. I peeled back this trim and I managed to get it tucked or poked through here. I don't know how well that trim's going to sit. Yeah, there's a big gap here, look, compared to that side. I've got to figure that out. But yeah, it's now all in the boot. So not bad progress so far. So moving on to running the lines from the front to the back. I've got the wheels off. While I'm here, I'm going to slacken off the bolts for the shocks, make sure they come off okay. Notice that this is not attached very well. I'm going to take these arch liners off and just clean up the inside. No doubt they're full of mud. And then, yeah, I'm going to have a look to see if I can run these lines. So it looks like there's an under tray going front to back. And I've noticed there's some bolts. Look like some 6mm bolts along. So I might utilise those for the P-clips. And then drill any holes to rivet where there isn't a bolt. That'll probably be the best way. Should be quite tucked up behind this sill lip. So yeah, we'll start running the line from the front, I think. and I might do the rear. We'll do the rear. Let's have a look at the back. So arch line is here for the rear wheel arch. What I might do is sill jack and point, or sill lips here, so the line will come in from this side. I can go underneath this plastic cover, maybe along the back here, up over the subframe to about here where my hand is, main subframe bolt. And then maybe along the subframe somehow, and then up into the boot area. Apologise about the harsh light. So I've ran it through, put some conduit covering on it just to help protect it. So I drilled the right hand hole was already there, just opened up to 12mm. Drilled another one, so one for the front line, one for the rear. So then this line goes up above the subframe, over the top of the look like fuel lines. It comes round. There's a vacant hole on this bracket on the tank, so I've looped the cable tie. Didn't want to do it too tight. Then it goes round over the tank hose, and then through the hole on the side skirt. So now I've got the line ran down the side skirt. P-clip here, tucked it underneath the wiring. So then another P-clip at the top. So when the arch trim is back on, it just pokes out from there. Now we have it. Arch line are now back on. The airline looped round. Cable tied underneath for the time being. Side to P-clipped. So yeah, that wasn't too bad. Just need to do the same for the other side, and we can start connecting the management up. So with the driver's side lines now ran, it's now time to fit the rear bags. So to begin with, I need to remove stabilizer link, drop link, however you want to call it. That's probably going to need to be cut off because I don't think it's been, well, judging by the corrosion on it, that's not been taken off for a while. So yeah, stabilizer link off. I'll remove this lower shock hub bolt. I can then push this rear arm down, get the spring out, and then I'll get access to the bolt for the shock, and then it's the two at the top there. So a bit of a fight with this side, but shock absorber has certainly seen much better days. Stay at that. So yeah, shock's off, springs out, time to install the air ride. So the airbag is now fitted, shock now fitted. Found out rather than pre-assembling this, it's easier for me to slide the little bracket up inside the chassis, then with this top piece thread the bolt up into the bracket inside the chassis, and then bolt the airbag to this. It's a little bit fiddly because you've got to go through either side with your index fingers, but it is doable. Jacked up this lower arm just so it would hold the weight of the bag to make things easier. And yeah, the only other issue I had was this lower bolt. Don't know if I can see it. The lighting's terrible. But yeah, the captive nut had come away from the other side, but the cage, there's like half a cage holding the nut on. It's not even a cage, it's more like a metal piece. And it did eventually, well, nearly round completely. So managed to get that off enough to lower the arm to take the spring out. And yeah, so that's this side done. Let's crack on with the other side and then start the front. So this side was exactly the same with the lower bolt. As you can see, the brake dust shield is disintegrating rather quickly. Yeah, again, second time round, kind of knew what I was doing. I've set the dampening on the shocks to halfway, 15 clicks, just for the time being. So before I put the wheels on and I get the front jacked up, I'll leave the rear jacked up anyway, just for the time being. I'm just gonna wrap these threads in insulation tape just to protect them, with a cable tie at the top. Coilover socks may fit, but I'm not too sure. There's nothing really to stop it. Be a very short sock, but insulation tape should work for the time being, just to help preserve those threads. So moving on to the front, need to remove the retaining clip holding the brake hose on. This I will need to cable tie because this keeps coming off, but normally prise that out. There's pretty sure there's a second ABS sensor wire. No. Drop link. This dampener, rubber dampener thing, and then 2 low bolts, and then the 2 top mounts. So the front left strut is now on. I found it easier to connect the stabilizer link, drop link, before you fit the bolts to the hub, because I struggle to do it the other way around. So P-clip for the leader hose at the back. This can be moved in and out to adjust if need be, and then it goes behind the arch line and then underneath the car. So let's crack on with the other side. Passenger side strut is now on. P-clip the leader hose to the inner wheel arch. I've now put the wheel on and tested, or checked for clearance on full lock, and there's about a 3-finger gap between the leader hose and the tyre, so I believe it should all be okay. So let's double check all the connections and start her up. Excuse the mess for the time being, it will get tidied up, but I wanted to make sure it all works first. So got all the lines on the manifold. We've got water trap, exhaust is down there as well. Got the lines to the tank. Tank's bolted down. Also made a platform, floor, whatever you want to call it, for the tank to sit on, wrapped it in or trimmed it in carpet. Not the best jobs, but it'll do for now. So the lines for the compressors are in. Use the T-piece for the time being. I probably will go off the side of the tank eventually, but I just want to get it all in and working and whatnot. So the power's all connected. So yeah, let's connect the piggyback fuse holder on the fuse box and switch it on. compressors are on, that's a good thing. Right, I'll see you in a few seconds once it's reached 150 psi. 148. I don't know if it's normal for it to settle. I'm unsure. It's 147. But let's have a look at the boot. Can't feel no leaks. I can't feel any air. No, I think we're good. So spare that hose. So yeah, awesome. So let's pump up the bags and get it on the ground. Right, so I've done the calibration. I'm now going through the presets. Apologies for the sun. So this one, 4562, that's what Airlift Performance recommend. 5564, so front nose up a little bit higher. 4475, so the rear end is slightly higher. 7075, that was already on there. But then I'll set 8 to low, air out, but this is just a guess. 30 and 40 for the time being until the car's on the ground. And that's the boot. Carpet now back in. Sits a little bit high here, so I think the loom and whatnot needs tweaking, but I'm gonna do that underneath properly later on, just so it's not a mess. So yeah, still functional. Very happy with how it's come out so far. And here we go, all aired out. I do like the look of the States bagged or low. So yeah, with a set of wheels, this is going to look pretty nice. Yeah, very happy. So yeah, hopefully this is helpful to anyone who wishes to do the same. And I'll make another video later on doing the install of the boot, or redoing the boot. So yeah, awesome. Thanks for watching.